the ocean.
It may have claimed more lives. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The CDC is looking at a new analysis that suggests nearly twice the number of people died of COVID-19 than what's been reported so far.
The University of Washington's Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation says the coronavirus may have killed more than 900,000 Americans. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky says the agency is looking into the analysis and may adjust its numbers, which now stand at more than 580,000.
To understand that the death toll of this disease has been attributable directly from COVID, as well as collateral damage, I would say, from COVID-19.
Researchers at the University of Washington believe many cases could have been missed due to a lack of testing in the U.S. and around the world. Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
European leaders are voicing skepticism that a proposal by President Biden to lift protections on COVID vaccines would help get shots to people in poor countries, with some EU members calling for more exports of the doses already being produced. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the U.S. could afford to increase supply to the global community. President Biden is sounding optimistic despite today's disappointing jobs report.
Never thought that after the first 50 or 60 days, everything would be fine. Today, more evidence that our economy is moving in the right direction. It's kept a long way to go.
The economy added 266,000 jobs last month, far less than previous month and much less than projections. California's population fell by more than 182,000 people last year, the first year-over-year loss ever recorded in the state. The news from state officials comes 1 week after the U.S. Census Bureau announced a small population growth for California, resulting in a loss of a congressional seat. Americans listening to Fox News.
Indeed, is the job site that makes hiring as easy as one.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for being a part of our journey, as always, as we embark into the world of the weird and the unknown, the strange, the uncertain, the bizarre, and otherwise known as the paranormal. This is the portal of the paranormal, apparently. That's what they tell me. But I hope you guys are having a great night, and without further ado, I'd like to introduce my co-host, my inspiration, the reason that I show up every day, and my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard. Welcome, Don.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Where's that energy, Don? Bring
You
it.
are the wind beneath my wings, Brent.
It's true, I am.
You keep me aloft and aloof at all times.
I've been known to create some updrafts, Don.
I was wondering where that was coming, when that was coming.
There it is. I dealt it right up. So
There
how you
it
doing?
is.
How you doing, man?
Oh, doing good. It's a beautiful Friday here, and I've spent it all indoors.
That's right. Because no better way to spend them than indoors looking out windows at how nice it is outside.
How nice it could be if it was just 10 degrees warmer.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's a good time for being indoors. So welcome, everybody. This is our creature feature night. We're going to get into another creature feature. We're going to have lots of discussions about cryptids and creatures and beings and things of that nature, many of which you probably have heard of before, but maybe a few you haven't. I don't know. we'll see what we get into as we go. But as always here on the portal, the phone lines are open. Preferably wait till the last, at least the second half hour, if you would. But 720-923-0500 is the numbers for the show, and we'd love to have you call in and be a part of the journey. If you have something paranormal to share or something you'd like to discuss about the paranormal, that certainly is on the buffet of the portal as well. We can just discuss things too. But anyway, we'd love to hear from you. It's always great when you guys call in with your encounters and experiences, because there's no better experience than firsthand experiences. I mean, it's awesome to hear from the people who've experienced the weirdness of their the paranormal. So, God, Don, I feel like I'm forgetting something. Am I forgetting anything? No?
Not that I recall.
Okay, well, I'd just like to mention, again, folks, the Medellin Falls is hosting the Medellin Bigfoot Festival June 18th and 19th. So
19th and 20th.
19th and 20th, rather. Sorry. That's what I get for spitballing it. But 19th and 20th, and that's in Medellin Falls, Washington State. And it's going to be a great event. The speaking engagements are all sold out, but there will be plenty of opportunity to meet the speakers and to hang out with them and to talk with them throughout the days, because there's going to be an open air festival. For the whole town is taking part. There's going to be a 5K run, but there's just so much going on at this event, and so it would be epic. If you're in the neighborhood or can get to the neighborhood, get there, because Bob Gimlin's the keynote speaker. I mean, he's the big draw, and that's one of the reasons I'm really excited to get there. This is a chance to meet a part of the
Bigfoot legend.
The legend, one of the pioneers of bringing the Bigfoot phenomena to the mainstream, as it were. Back in '67, after the Patterson Gimlin film was filmed in Bluff Creek, California, it was featured everywhere. I mean, it really did go mainstream, and was featured in movie theaters across the nation, and people talk about seeing that film to this day. So this is an opportunity. Of course, Roger Patterson passed away years ago, but Bob's still out there, and he's still representing and has a lot to say, and so he'll be speaking there. But there's there's great opportunities to meet him outside of that as well. So if you can make that journey, I would highly recommend it.
Yes.
Ken Gerard will be there, and many others as well. Shane Corson. Who am I missing? Adam Davies is as emceeing the whole event, so it's just going to be a great time, and lots of
Amy Boo's going to be there, right?
Amy Boo is going to be there too. Yeah,
Let's
Amy's
see.
been a guest on the show before. Yeah. She's a wonderful researcher and enthusiast, and just a load of fun. So
it's just going to be packed.
It is. So if you can make it, just make it, because there's going to be so much going on, and a free film festival that's going to be hosted in the theater there. So. That's going to be featuring some documentary films that were created of the Sasquatch. So definitely lots to show up for. It's, again, a whole town-wide phenomena. It
is going to be a phenomenon.
It's going to be a phenomenon, but it's a festival.
Get all those people there. Oh, my goodness.
All the cool people are going to be there.
Who is going to come next year? Who's left?
I don't know.
Wow.
So that's coming up, folks. And so just, if you can make it. But I guess we should probably start with the news, huh, Don?
The news.
Time for the news. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk. And a special thank you, of course, to Freaky Friday. I forgot to mention that. That's one of the things I was forgetting, is a thank you to Kev and the boys for setting the stage for us on TFR, iHeart, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live. It's always a pleasure. It's an honor, and it's just great to be part of the family. So thanks, Kevin, guys. You guys do awesome. Thank you for warming it all up for us, rookies.
I was gonna say they're like the band that nobody knows.
We're like the band nobody knows. They're like, it's like following the Beatles.
They're the warm up band.
Yeah, I wish that were the case. But
yeah, well,
I think we're the wind down band.
Yeah, we're the okay. We're leaving now. So we'll see you guys later.
We're the band that they turn the lights on so you can straighten up your chairs and stuff. But we'll play you out. We're the band on the Titanic. Yes, it sinks.
Let's keep playing, boys.
It's been an honor, gentlemen. All right, let's dive into the news, folks. And we got some stories pulled up for you that are kind of interesting. Some paranormal, which is actually almost rare for these news events. I mean, here's the thing. I always pick articles that are weird and unusual. They're not always normal, but they're not always paranormal, but they're not normal. So that's kind of my caveats for these.
They're just not normal.
They're just not normal, which is kind of the definition of paranormal. So it qualifies in an offhanded way. This is an article from unexplained-mysteries.com. Great site. Check it out. Just hundreds of great, amazing news articles dealing with the paranormal and the weird.
Oh, Kevin heard me say that. He's in the chat. No. He says, hell no, we're the warm up for you guys.
Oh,
no,
no
that's
way.
not even true, Kev, but thank you very much.
Thanks for that, though. We love you guys. All right, so Urban Explorer films Ghost Boy in Jordan, and I'm going to put the link into both chats if you guys want to check this out in case it is a video link. I'm not going to showcase it on the show, obviously, because we are on the network, and I can't show videos over the network, so that's audio only. But I'll read the article. It says, YouTuber Hassan Barbar captured a mysterious figure on camera during his recent exploration of an old building. The creepy footage, which shows the abandoned, litter-strewn hallways of an unidentified building, illuminated only by the light of Hassan's torch, is unnerving enough, but near the end of the video, he turns to see a mysterious figure standing at the end of a nearby hallway. And that this is for those of you that can see this the video, and if you're listening and not seeing the video, you can see the video of the show streaming live on youtube.com/paranormal portal if you're interested. But this is apparently a screen capture of that, and that is pretty dark. You know, they always say darker than dark with dealing with the apparitions. Right. And that really is darker than dark. I don't know, but I haven't seen the video, so I don't know what it's. At first, it seems as though the figure, which looks like a boy dressed in black, might not even be real, owing to the way it stands motionless. However, after a few seconds, it can be seen turning towards the right and walking out of sight behind a wall. Seemingly keen to investigate, Hassan then hurries up the corridor towards the corner that the figure disappeared behind, only to find that there's nothing there but a small empty room. Ooh, that's creepy. So where did the figure go? The video is certainly compelling. However, it's difficult to rule out the possibility that the ghost was just simply an accomplice and that the entire thing was staged to solicit views on YouTube. That's true.
Yeah.
It's also worth noting that the same YouTuber seems to have a lot of videos of similar sightings, which casts some serious doubts on the likelihood that this particular ghost is genuine. You can check out the footage below. The mystery figure appears shortly after 12 minutes, 15 seconds. And I'll put a link in the chats for you guys, and you guys can be the judge yourself. Again, I haven't seen the video, didn't have a chance to watch it, but it's always interesting. Now, I would say that it would be a red flag for me, any site that always catches apparitions and ghosts. I just have to believe. Flag. Yeah, because literally,
yep.
Literally catching an apparition is like catching lightning in a bottle. You know, it's just that rare, and it's not that common. Most paranormal investigators are happy if over a course of a few nights investigating, they get like one or two good EVPs.
Yeah, an EVP. Exactly.
Yeah, and they go for years looking for that one apparition and may never ever find it. And then you've got some people, it's like they got apparitions everywhere. It's like, well, that doesn't really stand to reason. But, you know, be the judge, believe what you want. Hi, Gemini, good to see you. But I think that's, you know, to me, that's a red flag for sure. But at any rate, let's continue on. We've got more of this news stuff. More of the news stuff, Don.
This news stuff.
It's new news. This is wild. This one's crazy, and I've heard legends of these things ever since I was a little kid growing up on the Mississippi River. There was legends, and there's legends like this on pretty much every river, everywhere, and they all tend to be around a bridge, people doing footings for a bridge and seeing these large shark-like fish down there that are huge. Now, I thought that was only exclusive to the area I grew up in, but I've since heard that same legend repeated all over the United States. Right. So I think it's just a great tale, but this is a big fish. And this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. And its giant fish is among the largest ever caught in the U.S. And that's a big fish. A group out fishing on the Detroit River recently managed to reel in a staggeringly large lake sturgeon. Measuring a whopping 6 feet 10 inches long and weighing 240 pounds, the monster fish is believed to be one of the largest lake sturgeon ever caught in the United States. Based on its girth and size, it is assumed to be a female and that she has been roaming our waters for over 100 years.
Wow.
The Alpena Fish and Wildlife Conservation Office wrote on Facebook. So she likely hatched in the Detroit River around 1920, when Detroit became the fourth largest city in America. She was quickly released back into the river after being processed. The fish was caught by biologists Paige Wilgren, Jason Fisher, and Jennifer Johnson. Jennifer, sorry. My palate's been not agreeing with me lately. We knew it was big in the water, but when we saw it on the deck of the boat, we were like, yep, this is very large, says Wygren. The first thing that was going through our mind was, don't get off, because no one's going to believe us. Yeah, it's the fishtail. Yep. It was this big, really. Sturgeon, which have been around since the time of the dinosaurs and have lived in the Great Lakes for 10,000 years, are considered to be a threatened species in Michigan. Based on this particular catch, however, they seem to be doing quite well in the region.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm going to put a link to this in the TFR chat. Again, of course, I guess I could put it in both chats for the, in case anybody's interested in following up on what that looks like. But it's pretty huge. I'm really pretty shocked. There it is in one, and here it comes in the other. Couple articles of fun here, folks, for you to check out at your viewing leisure, as it were. All right, so here is, what am I doing with those? Are they just sitting there? Are they closing? No, I'm forgetting to close them. Oops. There we go. Okay, got another one. That's all I need is more tabs, right, Don?
Yes.
This one's interesting. This one's quite an interesting statement. Again, I keep hearing about the history of human beings, and you keep hearing numbers like 30,000 years, 40,000 years, 50,000 years. Well, apparently they just found the oldest human burial in Africa, found in Kenya. And this is from unexplainedmysteries.com, posted Friday the 7th, which is today.
Yay!
Happy birthday to my younger brother, Johnny.
There you go.
Just turned another year older now. All right, so archaeologists have unearthed a child who was buried at Pangayasaidi Cave almost 80,000 years ago. That's pretty long. That's long ago. Alison Crowther from the University of Queensland and Patrick Faulkner from the University of Sydney explored the details of the find and explained what it means for our understanding of this time period. Oh, this is going to be one of those, isn't it? Yep. It's an old grave, folks. That's all we're going to get into. That's all we're going to have time for on the show. But I'll post the link in chat for any of you that want to read more about this.
This show just got shorter.
It almost got longer if I would have tried to read that. Yeah, Elaine says a really large fishy story. That was a large fish. There's no question. And there's the story of some of the articles on here are really long, and that throws me, because usually most of them are very brief, and they make it easy to squeeze it into a news segment. However, then I stumble on those huge ones, and it's like, whoa, that's not what I was planning. All right, let's get to the next one. And this is good. This is progress. I don't know. I guess there was a SpaceX had an issue with a rocket that didn't look like it was going real well. Not unlike China, but apparently the SpaceX one, they got it sorted out. So this is an article coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. Let's close the ad. There we go. And SpaceX Starship finally lands without exploding.
Finally.
Take that, Chinese.
That's what you get for not having Captain Kirk on there.
Yeah. After 5 attempts, the space firm has been successful in landing its prototype rocket without it blowing up. Measuring 50 meters long, weighing in at 120 tons, and equipped with 6 engines, 3 fixed and 3 movable, Starship was nothing if not ambitious. Designed to carry cargo and astronauts all the way to Mars, this next-generation spacecraft is the real deal and could see the first humans set foot on the red planet in the not-too-distant future. Before then, however, it will need to achieve several other milestones, ranging from reaching Earth's orbit all the way to traveling to and landing on the surface of Mars.
Wow.
To this end, SpaceX has spent the last few months launching a succession of prototypes several miles into the air with the goal of maneuvering them into position to land them safely again on the ground. While the team appears to have mostly mastered the landing part,
Mostly is a quote. It's in brackets. Mostly.
it's like horseshoes and hand grenades. That was close. According to avoiding a catastrophic explosion after the rocket has touched down on the landing pad has proven rather more problematic. Even with this latest test flight, a small fire broke out underneath the rocket after it had landed. Eventually, once these kinks have been ironed out, Starship will be combined with a SpaceX Super Heavy rocket to produce the most powerful launch platform ever built. Once that happens, a managed mission to Mars will seem like a much more realistic prospect. That's a long time in space, though. Wow.
That is, yeah.
Oof. I suppose they're going to have to spin it like a football all the way there, right? To create artificial gravity.
No.
That's wild. Obviously, we're not going to bother with the video, and that's encouraging news, right? Because,
it is, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, landing is kind of key.
Yeah, and not crash landing is even better.
Ladies and gentlemen, people have made it to Mars, but crashed. That would be a sucky deal. Oh, my God. Because that they're lobbing a lot of cash at this deal. So they're really in it to win it, apparently.
Well, I'm surprised Jeff Bezos hasn't made a rocket yet to go up.
Well, I don't know.
He's apparently got more money.
He's apparently got more money, but apparently a lot less success. That's what I understand of his space program. He's having a lot of problems. So you can have a lot of money, but if you're not landing things, it's not going to work out well. It's like launching fireworks. Ooh, that didn't work.
Woohoo! Bottle rocket.
I'm just saying, folks.
Trying to land that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Land this, you bastards. All right.
Wow.
Just continuing on. Here we go. This is kind of creepy.
Oh.
This is all kinds of creepy, actually. This is diabolical. It's horrible.
Wow.
All right, folks. This is another tragic one. Again, from unexplained-mysteries.com. Gangsters launch cockroach attack on eatery. That's horrible. Horrible. An unusual yet effective form of intimidation was witnessed at a restaurant in Taiwan earlier this week. When you think of gangster showdowns, you tend to imagine men with Tommy guns busting in, yet for Taiwanese eatery G House Taipei, it wasn't bullets the owners needed to worry about, but insects. According to reports, a money dispute with the organized crime ring had prompted two men to break into the building on Monday evening at around 7:30 p.m. Once inside, they deposited around 1,000 cockroaches all over the floor, then made a quick exit. Oh, that's horrible. Local police have described the incident as an act of violence.
Act of violence, okay.
And are now investigating. It is believed that 5 people were involved, including 2 lookouts and a getaway driver.
Oh, jeez.
The restaurant owner has since called in an exterminator to dispose of the cockroaches. Whether or not those responsible for the attack will be apprehended, however, remains to be seen. Yeah, that's terrible. Jeez.
I had something smart to say, but I forgot what it was. Dang, it was good too.
All right, well, there you go.
Well,
That's horrible.
So there were 5 people, 2 lookouts, 2 people to break in, and 1 getaway driver.
Yeah.
That's called organized crime.
Oh, it's kind of like that joke.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. It's just a stupid joke. It's like, and no offense to any country music fans, this is just a joke. But how many country music singers does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know.
10, 1 to change it, and 9 to write songs about the old one.
Oh no.
Come on, Don. No. Give me rim shots on that one. Maybe. Don, you're so mean.
I got you.
You did. You got me. I just thought it was funny. Come on. All right.
Well, you know how many psychologists it takes to change a light bulb, right?
I don't.
It only takes 1, but the light's got to change. Be wanting to change.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There we go.
No.
It's reverse there. We got 1 more to go, and then we're going to be about on the break here. And this is coming from unexplainedmysteries.com. Weird device lets you take your fish for a walk.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my gosh.
A Japanese firm is developing a portable container that enables you to take your pet fish for a walk. Yes, really. There you go, folks. You think your fish get a little bored in the tank? Load them up and take them out with the kids
Walk
into the
your
yard.
fish with your dog.
It'd be like a fish ball that they can roll around by swimming. Ever wanted to take your pet out for a walk or your pet happens to be a fish? Well,
What happened to Nemo?
he rolled into the sewer. Well, you're in luck thanks to a very peculiar product currently in development by Japan's Ma Corporation, known as Katsugyo bag. This strange device is essentially a self-contained underwater life support system that you can carry around with you like a handbag. How dumb is this?
Scuba for your for your fish.
Yeah. Future versions will also incorporate features such as oxygen gauge and a feeding system. And of course, the idea behind the project is quite sensible. It makes it possible for fish, such as expensive pet fish, to be transported from one place to the other. Yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
now
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
It also likely to become popular with fans of sashimi,
Nice.
a delicacy consisting of very fresh fish. Whether the Katsugyo bag will ever actually make it to market, however, remains to be seen. Well, there you go, folks. But you could take it for a walk if you wanted. I guess. That's
I wonder if they make them in yellowfin size.
here's my pet carp. You got to drag it on a wagon. Yeah, that's horribly weird.
Sashimi for everybody.
I guess this is a picture of it too. That's strange.
That's
That's a big fish. Jeez. All right. Well, folks, all I can tell you is that's the news. The news.
scuba dooba duh. Oh my goodness.
Just when you think you've heard it all, there you go, folks. You'll find out you haven't. There's always more. Oh, Lancefer liked my joke. Great. Thank you, Lancefer. Lancefer's in the TFR chat room. Thank you. That was awesome. I like that encouragement. See, Don? Rim shots.
Oh jeez.
There we go. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to our first break.
Thank God.
And we will be right back in just a couple minutes with more of the Paranormal Portal and more of the craziness that we're going to get into tonight. So don't go away. I'm just waiting for the music.
And don't forget the thumbs up if you're in YouTube.
Hey. Yeah, speaking of that, you know those 9 dislikes?
Yeah.
They went down to 2.
Did they really?
They did. Yeah.
I wonder if they found out who that person was.
I don't know.
Professional troll.
Yeah.
But that means we lost like 7, interactions.
Well, or they just turned into likes. Maybe they changed their mind.
Maybe they changed their mind.
Maybe they just
We
turned.
made him famous, and they're happy with us.
You know what? I like these guys now.
Yeah.
I hope that's the case. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, just waiting. Oh, we went to break. There's no bumpers. All right, that answers that. We'll be right back.
Community Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. I'm sorry, the bumper stuff is kind of confusing tonight. I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going on, but judging by the first break, I can see that they're running a little late, and I don't know. We'll do our best, but there might be little portions of dead air if there is. For those of you on the network, I apologize, but I'm trying to time it, and it's kind of confusing. But anyway, welcome to the show, everybody, and just want to take a quick moment to do some shout outs and let's thank people for being here in the TFR live chat room. Got Bam in there. We got Psycho Dave 321. Got Big D 1955. And we got V Lash and Daryl Bowles are in there. Thank you for being here, guys. And welcome to the show. Don, who we got in the YouTube?
Well, apparently we've got a very short list. We've got Aussie Tiger. How you doing, buddy? Bim Jim is here. Digger Dog. Hi, Elaine. Gemini's here. Hi, Gemini Moon. I am Pam, who will be hopefully in Medellin Falls on Saturday. That lion. Oh, there's Android. A whole bunch of people. Oh, there's Ethan. Lunatic Fringe. Raspberry's nice to see you. Wanda, YTFP Chris, and that guy named Aether Archives. I don't know why he keeps coming back.
He's just like a boomerang.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's good to
Made
have
out of
here.
rotten wood. And, of course, a big shout-out to, Viva.
Viva. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the show. It's great to see you guys. Thanks for being a part of the journey. And as promised, we're going to get into some of the creatures of our creature feature. And let me see where we're going to start. I'm not sure which one I want to start with. This one. Yes.
Which creature would you like to feature first, sir?
Well, this one's kind of a smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord?
Or smorgasbord or smorgasbord.
Spell that.
I don't think, I know it's SCHM, but...
ROQW.
All right, so let's get into the smorgasbord of fun here and deal with some of the creatures, the crazy creatures that people are confronted with in the paranormal. And it's really kind of mind-boggling. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to how many weird varieties there seem to be out there. And that's why I kind of think that some of them might just be tulpas. And I don't mean might just be as a dismissive term. I just mean that if you're not familiar with tulpas, there's many other forms for them. But tulpa or many other names that mean the same thing. But tulpas are essentially thought forms that are shaped or manifest by people's fears. And whether it's an actual physical manifestation or whether it's just some kind of hallucinogenic manifestation, it's hard to say. And but the people that see them are very, very adamant that what they saw was real. So could that be what's going on in some of these cases? It's hard to know. But let's dive into this and see what we can learn from this article from Ranker.com. And this article is 15 people describe their encounters with unexplainable creatures. I don't know about you, but this is going to be weird. Let's see. This first one is a tall gray creature with chains chased her through the woods. That sounds horrible.
sounds like an awesome Friday in high school. What are you doing tonight? I'm chasing people with chains.
Yeah. Last Monday, I went on a walk into the woods. I usually go all the time, whether it's spring or winter, and I'm an 18-year-old girl. I'm not very tall, and I don't weigh much. So I'm a pretty fast runner, too. Sometimes it can get really creepy out there in the woods. My mom and grandparents, they live right down the road, always told me that if I start to feel unsafe out there, I always need to leave. They never said why, but I always figured they were afraid of the coy dogs and never seemed that important. I did listen to them, though. So Monday afternoon, maybe a bit past 4 o'clock, I left to go walking. I'd been out there just 2 days before with no problems. But after walking for about half a mile, the feeling that I was being watched began. I kept walking maybe a quarter mile until I came to the old logging road. It makes for a quick way around the woods, and it also connects to the road that my house and grandparents' houses are on. And I was getting pretty tired of hiking through the snow-covered bushes and logs, and I still felt like something was watching me. And just a few moments before, I could have swore I saw something moving around in my peripheral vision, so I decided to walk down the logging road instead. As I was walking down it, I heard the sound of chains rattling nearby and started looking around for them, thinking maybe it was just chains in a tree blowing in the wind.
Right.
Chains don't really blow that well, do they, Don?
I don't know. Ask Viva.
Oh, dear God. All right. I had to give it to you. I couldn't find any chains, and I stopped hearing it after a second. I kept walking and was getting close to my grandparents' land when I heard the chains again, and I stopped walking to look around me and check to see if maybe it was something I was wearing, my jacket, my necklace. It wasn't anything on me. I jumped around to double check and probably looked really stupid, but I knew it wasn't me making the noise. How big is your necklace that it could sound like chains? You got some real bling cooking there.
80 millimeters fat.
If you can confuse the sound of your necklace for chains, you are representing.
That's not a necklace. That's a that's a collar.
Yeah, exactly. I decided I'd just go to my that's kind of scary with you and the beard and all, man. You start howling, I'm going to go get some garlic or silver bullets. I decided I'd just go to my grandparents' house and walk back using the actual road. But as soon as I started heading into the woods, I heard something, and it sounded like my footsteps had been in time with a second pair that were maybe 10 feet away, which made no sense because there had been nothing there just a moment ago. I took another step and heard something step at the same time behind me. I didn't turn around. I was too afraid to. It's just probably a good thing I didn't. So I acted as if I were going to take a step forward, but stopped, my foot right above the snow. I wanted to make sure I wasn't going crazy. Behind me, whatever was there stepped down. Dun, dun, dun. I heard the snow crunch, and then it moved forward again quickly. It must have known I'd figured out it was there. I started running towards my grandparents' land, and whatever was behind me followed. It sounded humanish, and the sound of the chain started up again when it started chasing me. The thing definitely had only 2 legs, and it sounded pretty big. There are a lot of thorn bushes, small trees, and other things that stay around all year, even in the winter, and while I ran between them the best I could, it was just going right through them. I glanced behind me for a second, and all I saw was a really tall, gray humanoid blur before I looked back in front of me. The final stretch was terrifying. I could hear heavy breathing and the chains rattling just a few feet behind me the entire time, and it sounded like it was almost growling. My grandparents' dog, a very big Malamute Mastiff mix, was up in the yard near the house and started barking, but he didn't run towards me. He just stayed by the house barking. And then he ran with me to the house when I got close to him. I ran up to the door and went inside. The dog came in right beside me, don't worry, and slammed the door shut. I didn't hear anything and looked out the window, but there wasn't anything there. The dog was leaning on me and shaking. My grandfather came to the door from upstairs after just a few seconds, and I started crying and told him everything. He became very serious and told me, don't think about it. Just forget it ever happened. I tried to ask him why, but he refused to tell me anything. I tried asking my grandmother too, but she didn't say anything. It just changed the subject.
Wow.
So what's the scoop there?
What is the scoop?
Yeah, that's the curious part. So this thing, what is with the chains? That's, that sounds more, I don't know, spiritual, I would think. I don't know.
I don't know. It sounds like Chainsaw Massacre to me.
Yeah, well, there's
Holy
that.
Crap.
Yeah, that's creepy.
No, Viva V, leave me alone, Viva.
So they were chased by a long-armed creature is number 2.
Oh.
When I was 13, this is from Redditor Screw Audi. He doesn't like Audi apparently. When I was 13, I was on an ATV with my 2 older sisters, one 15 and the other 18, and we were going to my grandma's, which was less than 2 kilometers away from my parents' place. We were traveling through our fields, but on the way, I suggested we go around the fence so we didn't have to open the gates. It was pretty much the same path, just a little bit off to the side. As we get to the middle of the field, we all noticed something sitting on top of the hill that we were about to climb. We slowed to a crawl because it looked human. We thought maybe a calf fell and was stuck, and maybe it was my uncle who looked after the cattle, but this thing was sitting weird, basically like how Spider-Man perches over buildings, crouched down on top of a rock. Now I want to describe this thing. It was tall, skinny, and wore no clothes.
Whoa.
Just a body is what we could see. Grayish color, and the head wasn't shaped like a human's. It was thin and small. We were about 30 to 40 meters from this thing, and it was during the day, too. As we were sitting there trying to figure out what we were seeing, this thing slowly stood up, and my heart sank. Its arms were long, grossly long.
Wow.
I screamed to stop and instantly jumped from the ATV to the driver, replacing my sister. As we were switching, this thing started running at us.
Oh.
But it was running weird. Its arms were swaying back and forth like normal runner, but because of how long the arms were, it looked weird. You would think it would run on the long arms, but it didn't. It was running fast. I turned around and shot off straight through the field. My sisters were screaming that it was still coming, but I honestly could not look back at this thing, so I just said, "Don't look at it." We rounded the corner, and that's the last we saw of it. After the corner, its trails to my parents' house. And as we got home, I crashed the ATV into the deck, trying to get in as fast as we could. We were so scared. My parents actually believed us. They called all the family to warn if it was a trespasser, and they said nobody saw anything or anyone in the fields.
Wow.
Yeah, that's terrifying. Eesh.
Viva wants to know if we can get its phone number.
I don't know. All right. Number 3, a large hairless creature stalked his house. All right. One morning, I was outside with a cup of tea just before dawn. I was thumbing a bowl of tobacco into my pipe when I heard a shuffling towards the pine trees at the ridge of my property, or at the edge of my property. The back of my house faces the edge of a thick lot of short pine trees, and I see critters run in and out of it all the time, so I assume the noise was an armadillo or something. But when I looked up, I saw what looked like an obese woman with sagging breasts.
Wow.
But her head was kind of like an odd lump on the shoulders, very small and without hair or features, like a typical head. I immediately knew it wasn't an animal of any sort and set my things down on the patio table and called out to her. There was just enough light from the floodlights in my house to see a large bare bottom turn and run away. I could very easily hear the thumping sounds of feet in the pines. A few days later, I stepped back out back with a glass of wine to have a before bed smoke. I turned the back lights on and stepped out, and I immediately saw the heavy woman again. This time I could see her much better. When the dim light hit her body, she moved like a dog would, as if it suffered an injury. It was a natural lope for an animal, but not for a human. I could see her face this time, but it looked like she didn't have a nose, and her head was entirely too small for her large body. She loped into the pines again, but this time I ran towards her as fast as my legs could carry me. I had very little cartilage left in my knees, so it wasn't very fast, and I heard her shuffling away into the pines just as I reached the tree line. Just before dawn, I'd almost fallen asleep when my cat began growling loudly and slapping at the small window, and I turned on the lamp and got a full glimpse of half the face of the large woman. I knew it was her immediately. Her face has holes where a nose should be and swollen lips, and her eyes were dark brown all over, but not normal eyes. I got up and yelled while pointing my piece at her, and she turned and ran. Through the window, I saw her scramble away, and then I went on the patio door and turned the lights on so I could see better. The mass of her body was swinging as she ran toward the pines. I opened the door and fired 2 shots toward the top of the pines. I had no desire to harm her. I just wanted to put fear in her that I was armed and done playing around. I'm not a young man and I live alone, but with a faithful cat and several guns.
Wow.
What in God's name is that?
I don't know.
I mean, is it just a deformed human of some kind?
But
all brown eyes?
Isn't that when you swipe left?
Probably. You should, I guess. She might just, I don't know. I don't know what to say. That's interesting. That's creepy.
Does he live in the Pine Barrens in Jersey?
No, but he's talking about armadillo. So it's got to be
Texas.
the Southwest, somewhere. Wherever armadillo roam, that's where this happened. All right, this one is 2 black-eyed children, Don.
Wah!
Asked to enter his house.
No.
All right, this is from PM Me Cryptids. Redditor posted this one. It says, I was born and raised in the plains of Texas. All right, so we get some geographic information here, specifically an area where black-eyed kid sightings are prevalent. Wow. I had heard the stories, tales, legends, whatever you want to call them, since I was a young man, but never really truly believed them. The black-eyed kids were mainly something I entertained as a joke or something to get a rise out of people.
Sure.
Well, this changed in the summer of 2009. It was a warm night in June, and I was up late around 2 a.m., as I typically like to stay up late, especially in the summer, since it would stay fairly warm even after the sun went down. I had just run up to the store to grab a big fountain drink, and was returning into my house through the back door when I was approached by 2 children, a boy and a girl. I was very startled once I realized that they were there, since I wasn't expecting to encounter anyone in my backyard so late at night. Then the little boy asked, could we come in? We need to use the phone. We're lost. This is when I noticed the blackness of their eyes. Both of them had eyes so black, they were like pits. This is also when my heart sank. I couldn't believe I was actually seeing them, that they were right in front of me. As I mentioned before, I had heard the legends of the black-eyed children for most of my life, so there was no way I was going to be left to let them into my house. I darted in the back door and locked it as quickly as I could, and once I was inside, I ran upstairs and flipped on the lights to try to see if they were still outside. Thankfully, by then they were gone. I had so much adrenaline pumping by that point, though, that I grabbed a weapon and began searching the house and making sure all the doors and windows were locked. It took me several hours to get to sleep that night, and it's an encounter that will stay with me for the rest of my life. These entities took the form of something most people view as innocent, weak, and mild, and try to trick unsuspecting people to do God knows what with or to them. I don't know what that is. I'm just glad. Wow. I'm just glad my reflexes kicked in, and I'm able to live to tell the tale. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. That's all kinds of creepy.
Oh. That hit a new level with that last sentence.
Yeah, that was kind of awkward. I wish I could unread that. All right. A 4-legged man ran as fast as their truck. Oof. 4-legged? Okay. This is from the Redditor Word Blender. Okay. Word Blender. So this happened to my son when he was 17 years old. We live in New Mexico at the time, and my son Cody was riding along with his friends Drew and Alex, and they were in Drew's truck, and Drew was driving. It was night, and they were headed to Drew's house, and Drew lived out in the country, so the road they were on is isolated and surrounded by desert. In fact, that whole area is flat and mostly dirt.
If he says Drew again, I'm going to lose my mind.
Okay. As they're driving along, they see a man standing in the middle of the road. Drew slows down, and they all expect the guy to move off to the side. But the guy doesn't move. He just stands there. Well, he slows to a stop. I'm just not going to read it. The guy is standing just outside of the light from the headlights. He's wearing jeans and some sort of long-sleeve shirt. They couldn't make out the features of the guy's face, but they could tell he was facing them.
Wow.
What do you mean they? Wasn't he with them? Nobody moves for a few seconds. Oh, they're talking about the kids. Yeah, that's right. This is third person. The kids start to talk about going around him, but aren't sure if they should pass by this guy or just turn around and go the other way. Suddenly, the guy drops to all fours and starts running towards the truck.
Whoa.
All the kids start screaming. Drew slams the truck into reverse and floors it. Now they're going backwards on this dark country road, and this guy is chasing them on all fours, and he's keeping up with the truck. Drew goes faster, and finally the guy drops out of sight. Drew turns the truck around, and they all came back to the house. I was in the living room when they came in, running in, slamming and locked the door, and went tearing up the stairs to Cody's room. I went to see what was going on, and this is when they told me the story. I've never seen them so pale or frightened. They were completely freaked out.
Uh-huh.
That there sounds like a skinwalker, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be going down on all fours and running.
Right. New Mexico, so yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's got to be. All right, we got 4 minutes for the break, so this one's. I don't know. I don't think we maybe have. Yeah, we got time. I think.
Yeah, you can do that.
I can do this one because the breaks are running late anyway. So, this is something that happened to me. This is from Lettuce Lechuga. Happened to me about 2 years ago at my friend's house. There's Anubis. She lived right across a fairly busy 2-lane road from the parking lot of our college campus. The other 5 people in the house were asleep, and it was about 3:30 in the morning. I went outside to smoke a cigarette because I couldn't sleep.
Paranormal time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sitting on the front swing and I hear rustling. I figured it was literally any type of animal and ignored it, but then I heard what sounded like something on 2 legs shuffle through the leaves on the sidewalk at a very fast pace. Now I'm alert. I stand up, still smoking my cigarette, and look over at the right side of my property with the tiny evergreen-esque bushes, and the sound trailed from left to the right of the property. Now the parking lot is across the street. The taillights are on, the tall lights are on at all hours, so it illuminates from behind, leaving me only to see silhouettes. And I see something that may have been about 4 feet tall, and it looked like it would be a little shorter than my chest height. I'm 5'4", and it was peeking out at me, like it was curious. But I also felt like it was malicious because I got this overwhelming sense of dread and fear. We stared at each other for what felt like 3 solid minutes. I felt like I was in a trance. The best way to describe the thing I saw would be like it was proportioned but malnourished. Someone once suggested that it might be a little person, but I know for a fact it wasn't. This thing was very thin and perfectly proportioned. It was thin and sickly child. I guess it kind of looked like that little guy from the Lord of the Rings movies. I looked down at my cigarette for no more than a second, and when I looked back up, it was gone. I heard movement, and I said, screw this, and ran inside and locked the door behind me. Then sitting on the couch, I was staring out the window when I suddenly saw something run across, blocking a portion of the light from the parking lot as it went by. For it to do this, it would have to have been on the porch where I just was.
Sure enough.
Oh, spooky.
Wow.
Spooky, scary, horrible. Wow is right. That's weird. Now, that to me sounds like it could be a ghoul or a rake or something like that. You know, there's that creepy, really small proportion limbs, very thinly proportioned, but they're, I don't know. Ghouls or rakes are, well, they were believed to feast on corpses for forever, and they are believed now that they may be like actually hunting people because they can't eat the corpses anymore because of maybe formaldehyde. That kind of screwed up their meal plan. But however you look at it, folks, that's what I think it was.
Right.
But it's anybody's guess. So,
and guesses we'll take.
We'll take them.
We'll take guesses.
We got more coming up. An 8 foot tall figure cornered them in the woods.
Wow.
That's creepy, and we'll get to that when we come back.
Do they have chains?
I don't know.
Give it Viva's phone number.
All right.
554-1212.
So I just think, there's such a laundry list of these things out there. That's the part that really freaks me out.
Yep.
It's like such a long list of different creatures with different physical descriptions. And I really try to get my head around it, but I don't know what to make of it. I mean, I'm sure if indeed these stories are legit, and they could be, but they could also be fabrications for that matter. Mm-hmm. And that's always the other side of the coin, is that you can't always take these things at face value because we just don't know.
Right.
We just don't know. So whatever they are, They seem to be out there, and people are encountering something, and I don't know. There's just so much we don't know, Don. We don't know so much about this world, Don.
That's what makes us do this job. That is why we are here.
You know, but and the other thing is we're at a disadvantage, of course, because we live in these cities and in these manufactured surroundings, and,
Right.
and whatever these things are, they seem to be much better in the wild places, or at least very, very adept at staying hidden. So, and apparently we're not very good at seeing them for whatever reason. But maybe they see in the dark too, you know, like it's believed that Bigfoot see in the dark. So maybe all these other
Right.
things do.
Well, maybe they're
as
just
well.
more attuned to nature, unlike us, like you know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. But whatever it is, folks, it's hard to know. But I don't know. It says we hit a break again. So I guess we better hit our break. I'll just start the break, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes, folks, with the second hour
Here we go.
of the portal. So don't go away.
Everybody likes to play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger pours inside me as their lies keep falling apart. I'm not joking, yeah. I'm not joking, yeah. I'm not joking, yeah. I am finished with my silence. I am not a stupid toy. No more breaking me with kindness. Just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise. You're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity. Just make sure that you're well fed. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet.
Wherever you are, make it T.
Frequency Radio.
This looks extraordinarily bad.
They linger in a perpetual dream state, a nightmare from which they cannot wake. I can see you, Mommy! Where are you? I've never sensed anything like it. Carol Ann is not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that's different from themselves. Her life force is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeist are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Know what else can go on for years, Don?
What?
That introduction.
And then to the portal.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are entering the second hour of our festival of fun here on the Paranormal Portal. And we hope you are having a good time. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. We are into a creature feature tonight. The second creature feature of the Paranormal Portal. Actually, we always do creature features. But tonight is just a solid showcase of cryptids and creatures and beings and weirdness. So that's what we're doing.
And here to the right, you can see the longbeard.
Yeah, the howling longbeard. You missed the howl here. Sent shivers up my spine, I'll tell you that. I thought that beard was suspicious. What's the moon? What's the moon cycle? What's going on? I don't know.
It's waning.
It's in full moon right back there, dude.
Oh.
Right behind my head.
Oh, well, that's true.
There you go.
It only happens on a blue moon. Oh, wait.
It'll hit blue. It'll turn blue.
Violets are blue, your blood is red. You left your window open, I'm under your bed.
Oh, that's creepy. That's we need, as they say on Twitch, chat, clip it. That means creating a clip out of something.
Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, clip it. That's a creepy one. But anyway, welcome to ladies and gentlemen to the second hour. We are going through an article right now from Ranker. No, is it Ranker?
Ranker, yeah.
Is it? Okay. I wasn't sure I was right.
Wait.
Ranker.com.
Make sure you get the right tab.
Yeah, well, there's only 1 million to choose from, so I could probably hit any one of these and end up with show material.
Brent, what the hell is that?
I know. Well,
it's a kid's show.
It is. Oh,
Well,
come on. Oh, no. No, Don. This is a family show. Well,
we didn't need to see that preparation H again.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. All right. Let's dive into more of this article. This is an article. It's called Creepy Stories of Encounters with Unexplainable Creatures. And we're on number 7. And this is an 8-foot tall figure cornered them in the woods.
With chains.
No, that was the first
that was
one.
the other one.
That was the
Okay.
first one.
Dang it.
This is number 7.
How do you get cornered in the woods?
I don't know, but it can't be fun. I just imagine it's got to suck.
Bunch of squares live there.
It may be. Or, yeah. But anyway, let's go into this. It says, I used to not believe that there was unknown stuff in the woods, but after this happened, I know there is something unknown out there. And this is from John Thena, not John Cena. John Thena, okay. Who submitted that to Reddit. I just bought my first rifle, and I bought a 60-round drum magazine. Wow, that's getting loaded up. Reading up on the drum, I read they were amazing and rarely have any issues at all. This will be important later. A few days after I got it, I finally decided to take it out for a test drive. Kentucky is super wooded.
Welcome to the country of shooting stuff.
Yeah. What is that? I don't know. Let's shoot it. All right. Kentucky is super wooded. 3/4 of the land I lived on was thick woods. And there was a main path for driving out gator and a few small paths our cows had made in the woods. And I decided to walk along our creek that had a small path half cleared by our cows. At the end of the path was a big field our cows graze in. And as soon as I crossed the fence to go into the field, I instantly felt like I was being watched. I brushed it off because I've walked back there 1,000 times before and have never been bothered by anything. The walk to the field along the creek was a short walk, maybe 2 minutes at the slow pace. The further I walked in, the more intense the feeling got, like I was getting closer to whatever was watching me. About halfway there, the feeling I got was just so intense that I couldn't ignore it anymore. The drum magazine I had with me was unloaded, so I stopped and started loading it. Jeez. I only brought 20 rounds with me because I was just going to sight in my piece, and 20 should have been plenty. The exact moment I started putting rounds in the drum, I smelled something dead, like it had been dead for a while and rotting in the sun, and I started looking around. And right behind me was what was left of a possum. It was almost like it was placed there for me to find. The only thing was, it looked like it had been dead for maybe a day at the most, and what I was smelling seemed like it was far more decomposed. This obviously didn't sit well with me, so I double-timed it on the magazine loading, and I guess I should have taken the possum as a last chance to turn around. But I was almost to the field when I saw it. I was at the end of the creek, and the feeling of being watched was just unbearable. Just as I was near the end of the creek and the edge of the woods, I hear a splash in the water. Walking down to the creek away from me was something I will never forget. At least 8 feet tall, probably taller, very skinny. Imagine a grown man that weighs 120 pounds, now stretch him out to be 8 feet tall, but his body width stays the same. Wow. Very long arms, and it walked on 2 legs. Skin stretched tightly across its body. It made no noise aside from the splash when it stepped into the creek while it walked, and it also had a very weird walk. Almost like a waddle, but taking large steps. But that could have been because it was on a muddy creek bank. It was also a light brown in color, almost like the color of a deer. I pressed the bolt release to chamber around just in case this monstrous thing decides to attack. I did not intend on striking first. The round gets stuck somehow and doesn't even budge out of the magazine. I had never used that magazine before, so it didn't fail from heavy use. My only guess is this thing somehow had something to do with it. The magazine never worked right again, and I had to return it. The thing books it out of there without running or making a sound. I had just long enough exposure to it to get the details that I provided about it. Huh. Now, curiously, I don't know what that could be, but it's very similar to the other one that was a very skinny thing.
Well, and the person didn't mention, if it had hair or fur or anything like that. He just said it was a dun color, a brown or a dun color.
Yeah, deer color, yeah.
Yeah, so the skin or the fur, it doesn't really say.
Well, it just said its skin was stretched tightly over its body, whatever it was long and thin.
So it's implying that the skin was light brown, almost the color of a deer.
Yep.
So the dun coloring of a deer.
I wonder if that could be one of those walking stick things that we were talking about.
Ah.
Because it said it was very tall, but very, very skinny. And so is that possibly what people are seeing?
Did he mention what time around what time it was?
I don't see that.
Because now I'm thinking stick Indian.
Oh, okay. 60 round, no.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
Doesn't really give any reference to the time. It just talks about the distance and how long it takes. But yeah.
Wow.
That's really creepy and weird, but you're right. It could be a stick Indian, which is another one of those weird walking stick looking things, but very strange. Wow. There you have it, folks. But more creepiness. All right, number 8 is an enormous wolf chased them through the woods on 2 legs.
Huh.
Sounds like a dog man. What do you think?
Let's find out.
Let's find out. And this is coming from Redditor utrigger1154. I'm very experienced in hunting, camping, hiking, and general survival, and I'm very familiar and used to wildlife. And I was charged by what I believe was a cryptid called a Dogman. Oh, there you go. That charged me and my cousin. It was not a bear. A bear can't move how it did. And it was not a normal wolf. They can't comfortably run on 2 legs. Whereas what charged us seemed natural at this. This happened around June or July of 2007. I was around 17 years old and more cocky then, but still somewhat knowledgeable about the outdoors. My family used to own a cabin in northwestern Wisconsin. Well, there you go. You're in the neck of that woods. Yeah. And I basically grew up there in the summer, and I knew the woods well, but at night, it was wise to stay in the cabin, or at least by the bonfire by the beach, because of bears, wolves, and cougars. So this happened somewhere between noon and 2 p.m. Me and my cousin were standing at the edge of a clearing on a trail, walking, and he was maybe 10 feet from me when I decided to mess with him. I shushed him and said, "We're being watched." Well, he froze. And then I realized the woods were dead quiet.
Ooh.
I got spooked and started scanning the tree line and the other edge of the clearing from left to right when I saw it. Its teeth gave it away. It was panting and staring at my cousin. What I saw was a wolf as big as a black bear, at least 300 pounds. But it wasn't normal. This wolf was on 2 legs, crouching near to a tree, and its arms grasping the trunk with a clawed hand. It had reddish-brown fur. I told my cousin that we have to go. And the next thing I know is he's sprinting. I looked back at Wolfie, who had locked on and sprinted a few steps on 2 feet, and then I turned and ran when it looked like Wolfie was dropping to all 4s. It charged us, and it sounded like it was right on our tails, barreling through the brush, but for whatever reason, it let us go when we broke out of the tree line and headed for the cabin. What stuck with me most was the sheer size. Wolfie appeared to be nearly 7 feet tall when upright, and where it should have had front paws, it appeared to have large clawed hands.
Wow.
Now I'm not sure how to explain it away rationally. I've heard wolves and will occasionally kind of walk upright, but as far as I know, they can't sprint on 2 legs. Nor do wolves get that big, and black bears only waddle on 2 legs. Yeah, that's terrible. But again, there's another example of how aggressively the Dogman encounters are.
Right.
You know, they have no trouble charging at people. Like it's part. You can bet if you see a Dogman,
It's going to charge you.
it's either going to charge you or just stand there and intimidate the hell out of you.
Do you take American Express?
I think he's going to take a pound of flesh.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't know, but again, they don't tend to actually attack people, which is
Right.
a wonderful thing
They
because
just like messing with us.
yeah, exactly. But there you go. I don't know. That's
Elaine says you know you're in trouble when you see the teeth first.
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
See you. Bye-bye.
I know, because how could you look at that and not think, oh my God, I'm about to be food?
I kind of like his cousin, though. I turned around and my cousin was sprinting away.
There's that old adage, you don't have to outrun the wolf, you just got to outrun your friend.
Yep.
Yep.
Love you, cousin. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. The cousin got a little extra special start. Yeah, that's horrible. I don't know, man. That's scary stuff.
Wow.
Here's
Okay, yeah.
this one is bizarre.
Yes.
It comes from possibly a throwaway. A bipedal sheep said good morning to them.
Okay. I just had 5 thoughts go through my head, and all of them political.
Oh. All of them.
Were they wearing masks?
Ooh. Don. Just putting it out on Front Street. All right. I live on a farm out in the middle of nowhere that raises sheep and goats. Sorry. I usually get up every morning around 7 a.m. to go feed them, but something peculiar happened on this specific morning. I went down to the fence and I saw something odd at the far end of the sheep pen. At first, I thought a sheep was hanging from a fence post, but as I got closer, I realized the sheep was standing on its hind legs. The reaction made me freeze in my tracks about 10 feet away from the animal. I just stood there in silence for a moment. After maybe 30 seconds of standing still, the sheep turned around and looked at me. It didn't seem fazed that I was watching it. It just said, "Oh, good morning." Dropped back onto all fours and went to eat with the rest of the sheep. The voice was definitely a man's voice, but it sounded off, like a man who had just been roundhouse kicked in the throat. I generally have no clue what happened here. I don't live anywhere near skinwalker territory, so that's out of the question. But it wasn't malicious in any way. It was actually quite polite, as insane as it sounds. And is there even such a thing as a harmless skinwalker? I know I wasn't hallucinating. I just don't have a clue what I could have seen. That's weird, right?
Good morning, Fred.
Yeah. Good morning, George.
Sheepdogs.
Yeah, and the coyote. The sheepdog and the coyote. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
That's really wild. I don't know. Again, those kind of stories are so far out there. They just really bounce on the edge of possibility. But maybe, I don't know.
Sheep squatch.
Maybe it is a skinwalker. Maybe this person's right, though. Maybe it's just... I mean, why couldn't it be a good skinwalker? Because, of course, the skinwalker is rooted in a very noble past.
Well, there are different from what I've come across. There are skinwalkers, and there are Bruja type skinwalker.
Okay.
And there's also I've come across like a shapeshifter kind of skinwalker. They called skinwalkers.
Well, they're all
so it was a person who was able to shapeshift into a coyote or something like that, and they used to call them skinwalkers, from what I understand, because they would wear like a coyote pelt or something like that.
Sure.
Something like a token,
Right.
And we've talked about German stories of werewolves that have belts.
Yeah.
They have the belts that they wear.
Right.
So you never know.
I don't know. Maybe it's more of a shamanistic thing,
Yeah, maybe.
Because there's lots of legends of people in Native American traditions of, people that could change into eagles or elk or deer or whatever and lope away.
Right.
So that's not unfamiliar. So maybe it was, but wow. I don't know. It's hard to know what to do with that. And again, I end up hitting my Western sensibilities, and it's like,
yeah,
I'd love to believe in that stuff. I really would, but my head doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah. Well, I know Elaine says she hears banjos.
Oh, really?
Paddle faster.
Huh?
She hears banjos.
Yeah.
It's a Deliverance. Have you ever seen the movie Deliverance?
Yeah, I have.
It's a Deliverance reference.
You got a pretty mouth.
Why, thank you, Brent.
I'm just kidding.
Shall I blush?
You can blush if you want. Number 10, they saw a black mass with bright red eyes in their apartment. Ooh. That's not where you want your black masses with red eyes. You don't want them in your home. And this is from Lima Bean. When my husband and I were first moved into this apartment, I often felt like I was being watched and sometimes had a sense of unease. At the time, I didn't believe in the paranormal. I'm the sort that has to see something myself before I believe it. And once I do see it, I analyze it endlessly. Well, I went to bed one night, but as usual, I couldn't fall asleep quickly. Our 2 cats normally went to bed with me, but they didn't on this night. And after a while, I sat up in bed and looked out the bedroom doorway. And I can see the dining room area from the bed, and if the cats were playing or if they were inevitably end up in that area. And I hoped I would see them so I could call them to me. And it was dark, but not pitch dark. Because the apartment's windows were let in dim light from the neighbors across the way, as well as typical large city light pollution. So thanks to this light, my eyes quickly adjusted to the gloom, and that's when I realized there was a very dark black, the blackest black you can think of, blacker than the black even, like velveteen tar, mass just past where the apartment's very brief hallway ended and the dining area started. It was around 7 feet high and had a rough head and shoulders and torso shape, but the rest of it just kind of faded off. I wasn't alarmed at first. If anything, I leaned forward to try to get a better look, because I absolutely couldn't believe my eyes. I was baffled. But then I leaned forward and gawked at this thing, and it seemed to turn and look at me. And when it did, I saw 2 red eyes in the head. I did not see any other features, and I don't remember if the eyes were glowing or just plain red, but they were indeed red. The thing looked at me. My amazement was quickly replaced by a deep primal fear. And then it swooped through the bedroom doorway and towards me. I did the only thing I can think of, which is going to be the covers, I'll bet. Yep. And I was duck under the covers like a kid hiding from the boogeyman. After several moments, I began to run all out of air and beneath the covers, so I decided to elbow my sleeping husband in the rib. When he didn't react, strangely, I figured the thing was gone, and it was. I and my husband saw the shadow again, but it never appeared remotely as threatening, and all together, I saw the spirit 3 times.
Wow.
Yikes. That's crazy. You know what else is crazy, Don?
What's that?
We're almost at the next break.
No way.
I don't know how.
We're 3/4? Wow.
3/4, folks. This is crazy.
Wow.
Let's see, we're on 11, 12. Wow. This is going to be like the rest of the show. That's a good article, though. I like these stories.
This is a good one. Yeah.
Yep. So I hope you guys are liking them, too, because, there's all kinds of weirdness packed into this one article. Obviously, they're drawing a lot on Reddit posts and stuff, and that's fine. I think Reddit posts are absolutely, can be as valid as any other submissions anywhere else. It's just a discussion thread, as it were. But, you might be more prone to find, some fabrications and such, but whatever. That's also pretty endemic on the internet. But I'm going to read this one. 11 is pretty short. It says, they were visited by shadow people. From Redditor Alice Trancy, 99. This happened when I was really young. I was around 6 to 9 years old. A little backstory, I had a significant trauma happen to me when I was 6. I don't want to go into details, but it made the life difficult for a while. I totally shut down for a bit, and sleep at the time was my only safe haven. For the next couple of years after my incident, my dreams got stranger and stranger. I at first only saw them in the background of my dreams, like part of the scenery almost. And then I began to lucid dream, and then all of a sudden, these dark shadow people with red eyes began to manifest in my room. I never felt danger from them, and that gave me a sense of relief. I would talk to them like they were someone I knew, and I would tell them about my day, and a lot of times these conversations would end because they would hear something and move off my bed. I would wake from my semi-sleep state by trying to go after them. Towards the end of my encounters with these creatures, I got a sense of terror and could never pinpoint it until one night, a white figure came through my door and reached out with a knife towards me. I woke up with a jolt and never saw any of them again, though I will sometimes see one of them dart out of my vision.
Wow.
So that's the shadow people. I don't know.
Well, what's the deal with the white figure that came in with a knife?
I don't know. Apparently, he doesn't like shadow people a whole lot, or if it was towards him or him a lot.
Right. And I was liking this story up to that point because there is that
Yes.
thought, that idea that I've thrown around before about people who are throwing off negativity, whether they just shedding negativity. That shadow people subsist on the negativity.
Right.
So it was giving her, this reader, I don't remember if it was a girl. Yes,
Alice Trancy. Yeah.
So it gave her a sense of, it seemed to, be therapeutic for her to tell them about her day. And they weren't doing anything.
Right.
Maybe she was, and it was after this trauma she had. So maybe they were, she was shedding this trauma and they were feeding off it. And then out of nowhere comes this white shadow thing with a knife, and now they're all gone away. So
right.
it was feeling right. It was making sense to me, and then all of a sudden it's like,
boom,
plot twist. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what the whole white one was all about. But
with a knife, you got to be kidding me.
Right.
Bring a knife to a shadow person fight.
You don't bring a knife to a ghost fight.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's better.
Elaine says dad jokes. Yeah, I like them. There's plenty of those here.
Yep.
That's all I can tell you. But yeah, we're down to about a minute before the break, and I don't know how this is working because the theme music is coming and the commercials are coming, but they seem to be later. But I'm seeing the muted, the on air, off air break sign going well before that. So I'm assuming that we're probably muted when that's transitioning, but I don't know for sure. So this has made this breaks tonight a little awkward to try to sort out. But at any rate,
The portal's awkward sometimes.
the portal's always awkward. So we'll do the best we can, but we have another half hour to come. I just want any of you that are new to the show, please, if you're on YouTube, subscribe. Of course, we'd love to have you be a part of the family going forward. But we do have to take the breaks on Friday, Saturday nights because we are simulcasting on TFRLive.com.
The Mother Network.
iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live as well. So we are... they take breaks, so we have to take breaks. So in lieu of that, I created videos for you guys to watch during that time with some music. So hope you enjoy it, but I'm going to go to the break. We'll be right back, folks.
No hype, no fear. We are TFR Frequency Radio.
Hey everybody, we are back and back at it. Thank you to all of you guys who stuck it out through the break and managed to maintain your presence here in the Paranormal Portal, because I don't know, if you get out early, it can't be, there's unknown consequences. I mean, you're out, you're getting out, you're within the depths of the Paranormal Portal.
The
You
portal.
might come back and find yourself at your computer missing an arm or something. I mean,
Yeah, you may be on the USS Eldridge.
yeah, you might be fused to your desk. We can't be held liable for that, so I would recommend sticking with the portal all the way through the episode.
You don't want to fall out of that wormhole.
No, I'm going to leave that all the way alone. I'm going to leave that alone. But
all right,
I just want to say,
you can't be taught.
If you, yeah, there is self-preservation involved in that. So I will say that if you're listening to us on tfrlive.com or iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or TalkStream Live, you should stay tuned after the Paranormal Portal, because Paisley Wild will be coming up next. And her show is called The Spaces Between. It's an epic adventure of dealing with esoteric ideas and practices and just some great information. And she's a dear friend as well. So that's following the portal, so it's worth checking out if you are so inclined. If you want to check her out on YouTube, you can check it out on youtube.com/thespacesbetween, as she streams live to her YouTube channel as well. So, all right, let's get back to this. Don, are you ready for a few more incredible creature reports?
Let's get spooky.
Let's get spooky. All right, so this is weird. This one sounds weird.
In what? Okay.
I don't know. All right, this is from an article that we're covering right now, ladies and gentlemen. It's from ranker.com. It's creepy stories of encounters with unexplained creatures. And it's apparently written by Sarah Bloomert, I guess. We're on number 12, and this is their husband saw a group of tiny creatures in morph suits.
So their husband?
Their
husband. There's more than one wife?
I guess more than one person.
Husband with
yeah, that's weird. Is it polygamy? What's going on here?
Just
all right.
Out.
I don't know. I didn't write it down. I'm just reading it. This is from a Redditor. Sounds like autumn. All right.
Sounds more like spring to me.
I was gonna say. Yeah. All right, Don. Never one to miss an opportunity. All right. The jokes are free, folks. You don't even pay for the humor. Isn't that great? This is a show you can only love. When my husband was a child, he used to see what he called the little men in his house. He saw them a few times from about the age of 8 years old to maybe 12. He would only see them at nights and only in his basement.
Yeah, the basement.
Always the basements, yep. Never outside or in anyone else's home. He describes them as being about 7 or 8 inches tall, and they were each one solid color, as if they were wearing morph suits.
Okay.
Oh, so like Power Rangers?
No, morph suits. Like, that hood I have that takes, the black hood I have that takes away all the features.
Oh, yeah.
You can buy suits the same way.
Oh,
you can buy
okay.
a whole suit.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So they were completely silent, no sound when running to no talking, but he did hear them open and close drawers, cabinets, etc. Whenever one would see that he saw them, they'd run off into the bathroom or in the laundry room or would follow, and he would follow them, but they'd be gone by the time he got there. Once he saw one going in the cabinets under his bathroom sink in the basement, and When I looked, it was gone. There was also more than one at a time. He never saw just one. He said they used to weird him out, but not really scare him. They were usually running along the walls and not really out in the middle of the room. Of course, his family didn't believe him because he was a child. He had a friend sleep over one night, and they were in the basement playing video games. His friend stopped playing and asked my husband something like, "Did you see that?" And I just saw two small red people run in the bathroom. And that's when my husband got scared and told his friend that how he was hoping it was only his imagination, and explained everything to him. The two of them saw them a few more times. They just weren't there anymore after a few years later. My husband thinks they were either collecting something or looking for something. They seemed very exploratory in nature. Nothing was ever missing that he noticed. He was a kid, so he hadn't been drinking or anything like that at all. My husband absolutely does not lie. His friend sadly passed, so I can't ask him about the little men, and no one else saw them. That's strange.
So you actually missed a whole. It says
What?
It says in morph suits, and then I described it.
Oh,
So
did I?
He saw red ones, green ones, cream-colored ones, no facial hair, no facial features, no hair, etc.
Oh.
He said they really looked like little people
Okay.
in morph suits. Yeah.
Sorry, I missed a whole sentence there, folks. That's the narrator's curse. You get stopped and tripped away, and you might come in somewhere weird. God only knows how often that happens.
Tinky Winky.
I don't know.
The little, what are they called?
Bull. I don't know.
What were they called there? It's that Simon Cowell show with the Tinky Winky. What are they called?
I don't know. Are they
There's
Teletubbies?
Red, yes, Teletubbies. That's what
Oh
it's called.
God. Oh dear God.
Teeny tiny Teletubbies.
Okay, maybe. This next one is number 13, and they saw two people disappear in the same spot.
Wow.
Obviously, they were men in black or something.
Adjustment Bureau.
This is from Jordan the Hut.
Jordan the Hut. Nice.
That's the submitter's name. So I lived in a quiet, walkable neighborhood about a year and a half now, and my job is about 10-minute walk from my apartment, so I almost always walk. I'm a chef, so I get out pretty late. My encounter walking home and at the crossroad where I turn, I saw a man walking perpendicular to me. The man stopped and looked at me, and I was maybe a block away. The man then walked behind a telephone pole and completely disappeared. Could have been just me not seeing where he went, but the whole thing gave me an odd feeling. Second encounter, maybe 6 months later, same crossroad, same distance, same time of night. And this one is way weirder, though. There was a woman standing at the top of a 8-foot orange A-frame ladder in the middle of the intersection looking up at the sky. Hand over her eyes like she was blocking sunlight. The moment I see her, she slowly comes down from the ladder, picks it up, and started walking away with it, and I followed her as she was walking along the same route I take to get home, slowly as I was catching up to her, but when she took a corner, all of a sudden she was gone. I took the same corner less than 10 seconds after, and there was nowhere she could have put the ladder that quick. Just gone. Again, is this a case of aliens living among us? Is that a possibility? Because I assume they probably, if they are living among us, they probably look just like us or can look just like us.
Right.
And they can also do a lot more than we can do, include carry ladders into nowhere in a hurry. But
I'm going to start wearing sunglasses all the time.
they live. Yeah, absolutely.
Consume.
I don't know. It just occurs to me when people see stuff like this, is that possibly extraterrestrials that are here? And of course, there's hundreds and thousands of claims of them being here, including from the Chinese government, which states they're here among us and live in their communities.
Yeah, they're into alien labor.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're getting it everywhere they can. Those toys don't build themselves.
That's true.
But yeah, very strange. I don't know what to make of things like that. Oh, a Grindylow almost dragged them into a pond.
I just watched the Goblet of Fire.
Yeah, Grindylows are creepy little things. Grindylow almost dragged them into a pond. I was almost taken by a Grindylow when I was little, like 5 or 6, We went to a park near our house that had a pond. I was always fascinated with the small creatures, water bugs, fish, algae, everything. So I was squatting down, staring at this incredible little universe, completely enchanted with it all. Suddenly something green came out of the water, grabbed my little shoe, and pulled. And happened in an instant. My foot slid forward into the water, and I fell backwards onto my butt. And it was back in the water with a tiny splash, as fast as lightning. I blinked and then got up and ran to my mom saying, something grabbed my foot and tried to pull me in the water. My mom tried to console me by saying that my foot simply slipped on the muck. But I know the truth. So did he see this thing?
The Grindylows. Yeah, he said it jumped out of the water.
Something green came out of the water. So he's assuming it's a Grindylow, which maybe it is. I don't know. I mean, you know, I had a comment. Probably could have been comments from the cheap seats, actually. But the person was all offended that I referenced Harry Potter.
Right.
And it's like, but are you kidding? All of the things that she references in her books are legend, lore, fables. You know, I mean, this is...
Get ready to be schooled.
Yeah.
In English folklore, Grindylows or Grundylows is a creature in the countries of Yorkshire and Lancaster. The name is thought to be connected to Grendel, a name or term used in Beowulf and in many other Old English chapters, where they're seen in a connection with mires and bogs and lakes. Grindylows are supernatural creatures that appear in folklore of England, most notably there. They are diminutive humans with scaly skin, a greenish complexion, sharp claws and teeth, and long, wiry arms with lengthy fingers at the end. They dwell in ponds, marshes, waiting for children to come by. When they spot some children, they grab them with their shockingly strong grip and drag them under the surface of the water.
Wow.
Yeah. So Grindylows have been used as shadowy figures to frighten children away from ponds, pools, marshes, where they could drown. So there you go.
So there's
schooling.
There's some actual historical evidence.
Taking you to school.
Taking you to school. There it is, folks. That's the Grindylow. All right, so let's continue our journey here. So that's the Grindylow. That's the first reference I've ever seen.
Really?
Of an actual Grindylow attack.
Yeah. Actually, you're right. That's the first one I've seen too.
Yep. You know, I've of course knew exactly what Grindylow was because of the Potter movies, but yeah, that's fascinating. This one is number 15. They saw a gold fairy on their balcony. How about that? This is from Healthy Opposite, Redditor contributor. So it was early afternoon, late morning during the summer, and I was standing on my porch or balcony about 7+ feet off the ground after watering my plants when I see what I thought was a large wasp flying towards me from the wooded area next to my house. And it's flying fast. This whole encounter happened pretty quick, but the closer it got, it started to look more humanish. What I first thought were wasps' antennas started to look more and more like small human arms and legs, and it's gold, not yellow, not brown, gold. I also had the impression that it was fleeing something. I can't really describe its face other than it had large eyes because it was looking behind its back most of the time. And again, it all happened so fast. And when I say large, I mean unnaturally large, almost too big for its face. Oddly enough, I can't remember their color either. And then it flies into my cheek and kind of bounced off and then kept flying. And I looked back again. It looked back again at me for a split second and then past me again, as if it were being chased by trying to get away from something. Then it looked forward and flew to the next closest tree that was maybe 4 feet away and literally disappeared into the tree. Like I said, it was gold, so I would have seen it if it were crawling around on the bark. But it was like it melted into it and was gone. I was left just kind of standing there like, what the hell did I just see? With an odd feeling like I wasn't supposed to see that.
Yeah, no doubt. Just kind of it was flying along and bloop.
Is this real?
What the hell?
Is this real, Don?
Or is it just fantasy?
Yep, there you go, folks. That's 15 stories of weird creature encounters.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That was actually a very good article.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I like the Grendilo one because, like you said, we never see those mentioned.
Right.
And, it kind of makes me want to, go looking for more. But,
right.
We only have a few minutes left. So.
Right. No, I hear you. I agree. I think that would be fun to try to dig into some of these things. In fact, maybe we could do the Creatures of Harry Potter world episode and just dive into actual accounts people may have of encountering them if they're out there.
Yeah, there you go.
That would take some digging, though. But if any of you run across that out there, let me know. Email it to me if you would. paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. I'd love to see that because it's interesting. And ladies and gentlemen, I know for some people out there, it's like, what? Yeah, right, sure. You've been huffing some fumes or something, but all these legends are built on some kind of source.
Yeah.
And sometimes, it's maybe just trying to explain a world that was unusual and maybe magical to the people at the time. But other times they actually did see things that they couldn't explain. And so they did the best they could and gave them, some meaning or purpose or whatever. So
right.
I think those stories are fascinating. So
how did my computer's weird.
We're going to get into a Bigfoot story now.
Sweet.
All right. So this is coming from animalien.com. Great site. Great podcast, too. So if you get a chance, check them out.
Check them out.
Yeah. And this is in Indiana. A tourist met a Bigfoot with a cub in the forest. Not really sensational kind of story, but then again, seeing a Bigfoot with, I don't know if you call them cubs or little foots or what, but that, I guess a cub would make sense. But this is, again, in Indiana, a tourist met with a Bigfoot with a cub in the forest. After spending the night with a friend in a tent in the middle of a forest, the tourist woke up from strange sounds. Something stood outside his car and tried to open the door. At first, he thought it was some local resident or another tourist, but then he saw something frightening.
Ooh.
What? Andrew McGrath's recent book, The Beasts of North America, tells a very interesting story about how a man met a Bigfoot with a cub in the Indiana forests in 2018. An unnamed man, along with his girlfriend, went on vacation to a forest camping in Monroe County, Indiana. When evening time came, they pitched their tent and then fell asleep. But in the middle of the night, the man suddenly woke up when he heard some clanging noises outside. According to an eyewitness, it sounded like someone was pulling the door handle of his Nissan car, which was parked nearby. He got angry, thinking that some other tourist had decided to steal his car, and jumped out of the tent. However, he saw no one near the car. The man stood for a while near the car and then decided to return to the tent. He opened the tent curtain to see what was happening outside, and then he waited. He was confident that whoever was there would return. He again heard strange sounds outside and then saw a tall, dark silhouette near the tent. The creature stood and did not move, and then disappeared into the shadows again. After that, the eyewitness again jumped out of his tent and ran to the car. Suddenly, he froze in place, as he saw in front of him a very large figure which was walking directly towards him. Until that moment, he did not believe in the Bigfoot, but now he understood that this creature was exactly a Sasquatch.
Wow.
Yikes.
Exactly.
In a panic, the man ran back to the tent, dove inside, and zipped up as quickly as possible. He held his breath and then heard the creature, stepping heavily, approaching the tent. It went to the far corner of the tent, stood over it, grunted, hit the tent with its chest, and growled loudly. I froze in place with horror. This creature was so huge. I'm sure it was at least 2.5 meters tall and weighed about 450 kilograms. That's a lot of kilograms. Don't you double it, 2 pounds for a kilogram?
Much, yeah. It's 2.2 pounds. But
yeah. The eyewitness recalled. Meanwhile, a second creature approached appeared at the tent, much smaller than the first. I think it was a teenage Bigfoot, and that it was he who played with the handle of my Nissan. He started sniffing the tent right above my head. According to an eyewitness, he clearly saw the silhouettes of both creatures against the background of the tent fabric and through the window. They were clearly visible in the moonlight. The shoulders of an adult Bigfoot were extremely wide, and compared to him, The man felt like a small child. Then it began to make strange sounds. Addressing the cub, it sounded like a parental conversation, accompanied by clicks and claps of the tongue. I knew that this creature could easily break my spine with minimal effort, but it decided not to. Probably it sensed my horror, and that was enough for him. After that, both mysterious creatures left the tent and disappeared into the forest.
I think Dad was using this as a learning tool.
Yeah.
Okay, you see these little hairless punks here?
Yeah.
Stay the hell away from them.
If you're ever really hungry, look for these triangle things sticking up in the plains. They got people in them. It's like your gift wraps. I don't know. They don't eat us, apparently, thank God. But I don't know. That's strange. But very cool. I guess when it said cub, I was thinking of this little, I was expecting something baby-ish, but it sounds like it was quite a bit bigger than that. But you're right. I think it was just curiosity, and they were just going to go check it out. A lot of stories come out of Bigfoot encounters and accounts of them being very curious about our stuff. Like this one woman was out backpacking, and she went, I think she and her husband were out backpacking, and they went, and I think they were kind of grabbed and pulled back into the forest, and it was two Bigfoot, like a male and a female, and they wanted to see the backpack, and so the guy explained that he basically took off his pack and kind of pulled things out, and the big male checked out everything, and the female kind of watched as well, but they were just very curious about it.
Right.
Then after he displayed all the contents, they basically just kind of huffed and they both walked away.
Maybe
Yeah,
they were shaking them down. They couldn't find what they wanted.
Where's your lunch money? Let's get to the lunch money.
Come on, where's that chocolate at? I know you got a sandwich in there.
Yeah, maybe, but yeah, so it does come up. Notwithstanding the fact that many people claim they see them peeking in the windows to watch what people are doing. That's really, really common. That they love to sit and watch children playing in playgrounds. That's very unusual as well.
Like aqualung.
Like aqualung. Okay, so, but yeah, I mean, I think their curiosity is huge, and of course, I'm no expert on this topic at all, but I'm very interested in what makes them do what they do, like because they stay hidden from us by choice.
Right.
I mean, they avoid us consistently until like something happens, and then there's this curiosity gets more of them, and they got to know, so they come up and they do things like this, like, hey, look at this weird silver part on the side of this car, and they flick it and try to see what it does.
Like raccoons.
Yeah,
Raccoons.
exactly. Yeah, raccoons get their hands in everything. I lived with a raccoon for a while, and they are terrible pets.
Paisley had one as a child.
Did she?
And she said they were wonderful pets, but she had to clean up after them quite a bit. They like to play in the toilet.
Oh yeah, well anytime there's water, there's
they're washing their hands. And
one time the raccoon, it was pretty small. It was found as just something that fit in the palm of your hand, and my cousin raised it and kind of like fed it with a little plunge or a little squeezy thing with milk and stuff, and it raised and it grew and got into cat food and stuff like that eventually. But he was always very curious, and finally he figured out how to get up on the counters, which was a big thing. Which he just turned a corner, he figured out how to pull out the drawers like they're steps.
Yep.
And so he's on the counter all the time now because you can't keep him off. Before you could just put stuff on the counter to keep it away, but he gets up there and somebody just poured a hot cup of coffee.
Oh, geez.
And he went up there and nobody was paying attention, and nobody even thought twice about it because all animals will kind of sniff something first. Nope, raccoons put their hands in first. He put his hand in a piping hot coffee and pulled it out and started shaking it like this, like.
That'd be funny.
He was flipping his hand like a human. It was just like ooh 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 ooh. Yeah, so raccoons will put their hands in way before they'll smell it. So, not a good thing. He was not pleased after that.
And you can't wash your hands in that.
And he hated coffee after that.
You think? Wow.
True story, though.
That's awesome.
True story. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end.
Wow.
Of the portal as quickly as it happened. I will be back, of course, tomorrow because Don just has better things to do. You don't want to hang out with me all that
Yeah,
time.
you
I was
know,
telling you.
sleep sounds great.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Sleep when you're dead. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I'm halfway there from what I understand.
Yeah.
I'm probably actually 2/3 of the way there.
Well, there you go. But I'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific time. If you'd like to join me, I'd love to have you. Be a part of the journey tomorrow night. So we'll get into 2 more hours of fun. And I hope you guys have a great night. Don, anything in closing?
Teespring Spooky Mom ends on Sunday. 15% off all of your paranormal gear there.
The gears.
Doug gear.
Get your Paranormal Portal, the gears.
The gears.
All right, folks, that's all we got for you. We love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. And I'm just going to keep rolling until the song comes back on. I don't know where it's going to land. The bumper music is kind of squirrely right now versus the show timer. So I'm kind of in limbo here, but hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please spread the word. Share these videos on your social media. Love you guys. Good night.
Bye.
I think that's it.
Bye.
All right, rolling the credits. It says muted.
Bye.
Good night. We love you.